Alright guys, welcome back. And today we got a good one for you. I said we were going to talk more about long range. We're going to talk about that long range shooter that's just in the budget world. I've done a little bit of research on some of the guns that I looked at to kind of figure out what would work for me. You know, I'm just starting to get into doing long range stuff and things like that. So, you know, before I dive in, which usually I do, usually I just dive right in and get whatever it is I need to make it happen. But I really wanted to kind of see at the lower end, you know, how well it perform and learn with, you know, more of a budget design long range gun. So I looked at quite a few guns before getting into this one right here, and you know, it has its ups and it has its downs, really, when you think about it. And so with that being said, here I have the Savage Access 2, and this gun was particularly picked just because it had the features and kind of the accuracy I was looking for. A lot of the research I was looking at, there's kind of two guns that were sticking out for the price range that would kind of do what I needed to do, you know, kind of get me there to where I'd feel comfortable and, you know, and the application would work well. Obviously this is a hunting style rifle, but I'm setting it up more for a long range rifle. Probably will be building it in a precision rifle. There's a lot of companies, which we'll talk about later on in the video. But with that being said, I picked the Savage Access 2 because a lot of research I looked at, it's one of the most accurate for the price, and I mean sub $400 gun. And I mean, this one came with an optic as well. Not this one, but it came with an optic that did work, and it did get me out to distance well. So and I'll review that optic later if you're looking for, you know, my thoughts on that optic. I did use it on this firearm, and it did work well for, you know, I only used it one time. I went out there and tried the gun out just to see how it would do, and then this is actually the third variant optic I'm actually going to be switching out. I have one on order for this to replace this one. Worked great. We're going to go over that as well. But the Savage Access has great accuracy. You know, it's not a minute gun, but it definitely can do under 2 inches. So under 2 MOA is acceptable for what I'm trying to do. I go out to a range that has targets that are 24 inches at 200 to 700 yards right now. We will be working our way to 1,000 yards once I can get out to a range that's got 1,000. But right now, kind of stuck with 7. But that's great. You know, it's giving me time to practice accuracy, learning my adjustments, learning the math and things like that. So ballistic coefficiencies with certain rounds. But the Savage Access 2 has a phenomenal trigger. It has the Accu trigger, so it's adjustable. Anywhere from, mine pulls just under 2 pounds, like 1.8 pounds. I know you can adjust it up to 4. I've shot a lot of competition pistol, and most of my pistol guns are, you know, they're under 2 pounds or just at 2 pounds. So I went with what I'm familiar with. And with that, you know, this being able to be adjustable, I set it all the way down to its lowest setting, which is supposed to be, you know, 2, but it went under. So that worked great for me. It felt amazing. Before I did any of that, it shot at stock, and, you know, it's 6.5 Creedmoor, and it kicked a little bit, not too much, just it didn't make it as fun as a shooter, and, you know, that's where we found the down. It was accurate and it got me on, but the downside of it was it doesn't have a threaded barrel, and I mean, for the price range, I'm not expecting it to have a threaded barrel. The second gun that I was looking at was $200 more, roughly, maybe about $189 more, and that one had a threaded barrel. So that being said, maybe that would have been the option. But I also looked at the aftermarket application for this rifle because I'm probably going to have it a long time, and it's probably going to get built in the future, probably near future, to be honest with you, now that I've been kind of doing my research. But for what it is, it's very accurate, very, very nice trigger for what it is. The bolt action feels great. It does really well, you know. I do like the bolt throw action, and there's just nothing but aftermarket application for it, you know. So what I've kind of just put on it is I did put a little cheap bipod, because like I said, I was keeping this budget. I didn't really want to spend a lot of money into it, just to kind of see where I was going to go with this, because there's more guns to come. There's more precision type rifles or precision type builds that I want to do to kind of reach out and touch somebody out there. You know, the going out to 1,000 yards, obviously I'm going to try it with this gun as it is here soon, but I do have a precision rifle that we will be reviewing very shortly, and it has done very well as well. And this one has honestly kept up with it, and I'm very impressed with it. But you know, just kind of tell you what I've done to it to get to that point where, you know, it's no questions asked. At 700 yards, I dial up, I believe it's 14 MOA or 16 MOA on this at 700 yards, and hits every time. So, and that's only at like a 13.5 power. This goes to 27 power. It's a Optic 6, and it's a great optic. It works really well. It's a sub $800 optic. I didn't pay that for it. It actually kind of came with a gun that I had come across, so I did like the glass clarity on it. It does have very clean glass on it, so decided to try it out. You know, so you have all the features where you have the click adjustments so that you can turn it, and then it has the zero stop as well, which I do like the zero stop. I have been doing a lot of homework on that. That's what kind of sucked me down the rabbit hole of some of these optics. And one of the main optics that, you know, what this is going to get replaced with is a Arkin. I have an Arkin on the other rifle that we'll be reviewing, so you'll get to see that one as well. But this optic has been doing great from 2 to 700. It has been no questions asked. I just keep dialing up, dialing up, dial up, dial up, dial up, lock it down, and I'm good to go. Great thing about it is, like I said, it has the zero stop, return to zero, so that we know where we're at every time. So you can go from 700 to 200, and the math's already done. You know, you have your dope booklet or whatever, your dope card. Other rifles, well, I'll probably put the dope card on, because I do want to kind of get into some precision rifle matches, or, you know, see what's out there. We'll dabble out with that when the time comes. But that's one of the things that I've been using. It's a great optic. I don't even use the full power. Honestly, at 27 power, you're not getting that field of view that you're looking for. So if you do get a miss, you know, you're not seeing where it is as well. So at 13.5 seems to be the money shot. I truly believe for those distances, for long range, a 16 power scope is perfect. It does have a 30mm tube, so I mean, I would say the 13.5 will work great, being that it's 30mm tube. My other one is a 34mm tube, so I can work in the lower ranges of magnification and get kind of a clear picture and see what I want to see. But this optic's been doing great. The rings that it came with works really well. They're a little high, but it actually works out for me. I sit up high in the cheek. I got a long head, you know, and this has like kind of a tall cheek well. So it actually worked out really well. I'm not scrunching down too deep, and I'm not lifting my head up, so this has been nice. We'll be changing the stock out, obviously, for a chassis in the future. Another nice thing, and this is the most important thing, and if you have one of these Savages, or if you have a pencil barrel hunting rifle that isn't threaded, you know, don't panic. Don't go to the machine shop and pay whatever it is to have it threaded, or maybe you have a friend that can thread it. That's awesome. But there's a great company out there called Whip Machining. Kind of came across them with research again, and it changed the whole characteristics of this firearm. It made this gun absolutely fun to shoot. It took away all of the recoil damn near, and it does what it's supposed to do. And Whip Machining does a fantastic job at how they machine this. This is machined to fit. So they have you measure the tip of the barrel, the crown, and then they have you measure 1.5 inches out. And when I say this thing fits tight, it fits tight, and then you torque it down. This has not moved in 900 rounds so far. I've done a lot of rounds to this gun, you know, to make sure that I'm dialed in, and, you know, making sure that the zeros are working the way I want them to, you know, making sure that it's consistent. So it has been very consistent, especially with the muzzle brake on there. It has definitely calmed the gun down as well, and has honestly made the shots a little bit easier, because when you pull that trigger, even though it doesn't really buck that hard, when you're pulling the trigger without a muzzle brake, you lose that sight picture while you're shooting. You pull the trigger, and it's almost like you looked up. You know, you just don't get to see where your hits were. So it's kind of hard, because I do a lot of shooting by myself or without a spotter, and I kind of have to rely on my calls, you know, and have to make sure that I can see it. So being able to calm it down and see a very clear picture of what's going on, it does help me with getting out to zeros and stuff like that on my own. So if you want to take a look at it, this thing is amazing. Please take a look at Whip Machining. They do not sponsor this channel. They did not send me this muzzle brake. Like I said, I did research, came across them, and it seemed like the only option. There was 2 options, so I got it really quickly. They do put a little bit longer lead times than what it really came out to be, but honestly, if it took that lead time to have what this has done for this rifle, I would do it all day again. So it's a great piece of equipment. I mean, they machined it really well. You have 5 ports on each side, and you have 24 little holes on the top. So this gases out really well, and it has made this thing a phenomenal shooter. And like I said, if you're looking at getting into long range and trying it out, even if you're a hunter or not a hunter, this rifle has been absolutely amazing, flawless nonetheless. And like I said, the applications that are out there for parts is absolutely amazing. So I do look forward to modifying this in the future and making it an absolutely super precise firearm. But for the time being, it's kind of like my trainer gun. I've actually taken a lot of people out to the range, and they've never been past, shoot, 100 yards, 200 yards. And, you know, I take them out with this, and I just spot them out. I let them know, you know, hey, dial it up. And it does make it easy because I did the work to zero it out for them. But, you know, they get to shoot out to 700 yards and hit the target and make them feel good. So, and it's a great feeling. It has been an awesome gun. I do love this thing. Performs well. So if you are looking at getting into the precision shooting, or long range, not precision, you know, like I said, it's a 2-minute gun roughly. But if you are looking at doing long range and kind of getting your feet wet there, this is a great option. And there's plenty of budget, like real budget optics out there. Like this is probably more expensive just because of the glass and, you know, some of the adjustment features that it has. And, you know, you can definitely do with a different kind of scope as well. And like I said, I'll be switching this one out. Maybe I'll give it away in the future. Put down in the comments if you want me to give this away or something, you know, because it's not going to be on here for long. There'll be something else on there. Other than that, you know, put a little, like, what's that one? It's from Sportsman's. It's a little bipod, but it goes up quite a bit. You know, it shoots out. This is nice. It does make it nice to shoot with. Inexpensive and super easy to install. So that's done its job. Been looking at like a few other bipods for when I change the chassis. And with that, coming with that, the modifications that are coming in the future is Arkin's one of my favorite companies right now. I've been using a lot of their optics. Just amazing products so far. I've had a lot of good luck with them. A lot of people that I've seen the reviews on kind of are what pushed me to going to Arkin Optics. And it's one of those things where, you know, I trusted somebody on the channels out there, and it was definitely worth the weight in gold. You know, honestly, the optic was amazing for the price. So, and this has been amazing optic. I just like the, you know, Christmas tree reticles. It just makes my life a little bit easier. This doesn't. This is very much so like a hunting style scope. It's got the crosshairs, so a lot of adjustment is more important at the top, which they've obviously predicted. So I'll be getting rid of this. You know, like I said, let me know in the comments below if you want me to give this away. We'll figure something out, and I can, you know, we'll just do a little giveaway for it. But other than that, you know, we're going to do an outlier barrel. Arkin is a parent company to that company, so we'll probably do an outlier barrel, 26-inch barrel as well, which and they also have their own muzzle brake, so we'll be running their muzzle brake probably here shortly, and the price is very reasonable. And then you know, obviously I'll have to space that and stuff, but they have a very easy install kit. And then they also make chassis as well, so they do make a PRC chassis for this firearm, so I will be adding that chassis as well. So pretty much the only thing that I'll be keeping from this is maybe the trigger group, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I have Timney right down the street. I can probably just go buy one of the Timney triggers right down the street and run that. So I'm probably go down the rabbit hole and put a Timney trigger in there. And then, you know, so the only thing that's gonna be is the bolt. So that being said, you know, like if you're looking for a sub $400 hunting rifle / long range budget gun, the Axis 2 is definitely one to look at. It's very accurate. I have had no problems with it. It has ran probably over 1,000 rounds now, and hasn't failed me. Even when we get the barrel hot, you know, we have seen about a 2-inch change once the barrel gets really hot high, and that's pretty impressive. I noticed some guns when their barrels get really hot, because these are the thinner barrels, it's not a precision gun, you get some wild flyers. So take a look at this, you know, this firearm if you're looking for that. Be sure if you got one of those hunting rifles out there that you're trying to reach out long range, and you got a pencil barrel and you're thinking you got to buy yourself a new barrel or buy a new firearm, you don't have to. You can go to Whip Machining, get one of their muzzle brakes. It's absolutely amazing, and it, you know, don't get upset if you want to suppress it either. They also make a suppressor adapter as well, so that you can screw it on to whatever your preference is, half by 28 or whatever, whatnot. So they have options for you. It's a great product so far. It has not loosened up. They give you instructions on how to install it, and please do read the instructions on the install. It obviously is for a good reason, and it has not come loose at all. So very tight fit, very tight tolerance, performs as it should. So once again, thank you guys again for coming in. We're going to post a couple of videos on the way out of here, up here, and probably right here, of this firearm shooting out at the range, maybe a couple showing the muzzle brake at work. But once again, thank you so much for coming down to the channel. Hit that like, share, subscribe button, and stand by, because we have a lot more coming, and we have a lot more rifles that we're going to be reviewing, and also more optics as well. So thank you guys again. We'll see you next time.